this season, ever since the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I've always said that every season has just been like, it feels like two seasons. You just feel like
Yeah.
sometimes I just can't wait, or I'm just glad that it's over. What is your reaction to this season for the Philadelphia Eagles at large, but also like the landscape of the whole NFL?
Well, as far as the Eagles go, like I think if I had to use one word, it would be new. There's just a lot of new faces, coaching staff and players. Outside of like the O line and a few, longstanding guys in the secondary and like linebackers, like this is a very new team, and this is really the first time we've seen a lot of these guys. The entire quarterback room is new. Miles Sanders and a couple other guys have been on the offense. Are a new stud wide receiver for the first time in a while. A first round wide receiver pick that seems to have hit, that didn't strike out. That was refreshing to see. And I don't think we knew what we were going to get going into this year. I remember predicting on the show, maybe on my show, maybe like 7 wins roughly. And I think that was being modest. I'm someone that didn't take to the Jalen Hurts, being the guy thing right away. And so they've exceeded my expectations as far as win total. Making the playoffs at any stretch is an accomplishment, whether you lose in the first round or not. So I guess I consider the season a success considering all the new people we had, but I don't know what we build on from here. I think there's a lot of unknown going into the next year. So some things to celebrate, some things that it's obvious you need to change, I think. And just still a lot of unknown. And what is this team really? What's the identity of this team?
Yeah. And I went into this season not kind of doubting the team, but also at the same time coming at it with like an open mind, thinking that this team clearly wasn't the best team in the division. Like I clearly thought that at least Dallas would be better than the Eagles. But I also thought that this was a team that would improve. Like this wasn't a team that was going to have 4.5 wins. I knew that right off the bat. And I think it was when Steven Nelson joined the team, I said, okay, 8 wins. Okay, that's our ceiling, 8 wins. And I feel like as the season progressed, I think our ceiling was probably 10 wins. I think we could have gotten 10 wins. We got 9, which was way higher than many of the experts even thought that the Eagles were going to get. I mean, I think most USA Today had us pegged at 3 wins. Yeah. A lot of the experts may have had our ceiling at 4 or 5. Vegas probably had our ceiling at 5. So it is good to see the improvement, but also what people need to understand was that last year in 2020, the Eagles were playing a first place schedule.
Right. That's like very important.
We had to play the Saints. We had to play Seattle. We had to play against Green Bay was the other team we had to play against. We didn't really get a chance to play against many like super below the belt teams. Like this year, we got to play the Saints with Trevor Siemian. We got to play Detroit, which was a very poor team at the very beginning of the season.
Right.
We got to play Washington with a 4th string quarterback. We got to play the Giants with like a 4th string quarterback. So while
Jets too, throw in there
the Jets, but we played their 1st string quarterback is the only thing. They were an easier team. Sure, they're up and coming, but we still beat them.
Right.
Sure, we also played with the backup quarterback twice. So
that was another thing. Going into the year, when we got you said like, oh, when we got Nelson, that's when you make your win total. When we got Minshew to join that quarterback room, I had predicted he's going to start between 1 and 3 games for us, whether it be performance, COVID, something. He ended up doing 2. So I nailed that prediction too. So that was interesting for that one to actually work out.
And I think what was really interesting was the fact that the fans really had a big part in this season. Like the fans really bullied the coaching staff to run the ball more.
100%.
Like when the first half of the season, the Eagles averaged like 15 or less rushing, their non-designed rushing plays a game or designed rushing plays a game. Of course, like Jalen Hurts sometimes improvises.
Right.
But I remember the Lions game when Jordan Howard made his first appearance.
Right.
My question was, where has this dude been for the past 2 years? This dude has been on our roster since 2019, and he had a stinger. And then when his stinger was healed, he didn't even play.
Yeah.
Like in December, you're thinking, where is our big back? Where is our guy who's going to push piles? And when we look at that playoff game, where was Jordan Howard?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why wasn't he given any snaps? Like, the Buccaneers are like a top 2 rushing defense. Why were we playing Jordan Howard as like a blocking back? Like, why didn't he get the carries? Because this is a dude that even if like you blitz him up the middle, you blitz the offensive line and you give the ball to him, he's going to get 8 yards. Like he is going to push the pile. And
right.
the fact that he continues to get buried into the depth chart at the end of the season, I understand injuries are a thing. I understand you might want to keep him for the playoffs, but I'm like, guts or glory, right? If he's injured, why is he playing? You know,
right.
Why is he playing? So I'm extremely frustrated that continues to be a rollover, but it is extremely exciting to see Devonta Smith. I'm not a huge person on drafting first round receivers because of how bad the Eagles have been drafting receivers. I'm all about drafting D linemen and O linemen and quarterbacks in the first round. But you know, it is going to be exciting to see what we use those 3 first rounders on. I know we agreed on this that we're not going to use all 3 of those.
One or two of them's getting moved, I think. Yeah.
I don't think it's conceivable that that's going to happen. Do you have anything else to add about the season for the Eagles?
Well, Jordan Howard, I think, is definitely like a buzz topic for Eagles fans. Like, I think it's obvious Miles Sanders is your guy. He's probably the overall most complete running back we have. I don't think a lot of people would have pushback on that.
Who didn't have any touchdowns.
Right, which is crazy. But there's no reason why Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard can't be your 1-2 punch. There's no reason that shouldn't. And like, I think I'd speak for most Eagles fans when I say, like, I like what I've seen from Boston Scott. And Kenneth Gainwell probably played more than he should have this year, but, you know, he had some good moments. So, like, I'm not bashing these guys when I say it should have been 90% Miles and Jordan, and then, you know, Boston Scott can get in there a little bit and Gainwell get in there a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, I think it was obvious what formula needed to be used. And, you know, you said it earlier, we basically, I say we, but, you know, Eagles fans basically cyberbullied the Eagles coaching staff and everything into becoming a run first team. And I don't know what version of this was going to work when, like, obviously Jalen Hurts is an amazing athlete with his legs, his arm and his accuracy and all that. Well, I'll just leave it as to be determined. I'm not going to like dig into him too much, but like, it seemed obvious that this needed to be a run first team. And the fact that we started out as like, oh, we'll just throw the ball all around the yard and average, like you said, 15 running plays a game. Like, there was no way that was going to work. And if we would have continued that, because there's these coaching staffs that are very, very fickle, that aren't going to change based on, you know, like, this is what I think will work, so I'm going to keep it that way. If we would have stayed that way, maybe we do only get 3, 4, 5 wins. Yeah. I think it obviously was the change that gets you up to 9.
And at some points in time, we would only have like 3 or 4 rushing plays in the first half. One game, Miles Sanders had 1 rushing play in the first half for like 2 yards.